American patriots. Hello, citizens of the United States. Hello, sports fans, college sports fans. Been a while. Haven't been around. Actually, I have been. Um, for people that follow me here on Rumble, you will have seen that I have been doing a whole lot of videos about the local and state corruption where I'm at. Trying to keep everybody in line, trying to keep everybody honest, report, trying to report to the uninformed and to the masses. So this is my first national type video, I guess, in quite a while, and the segment is 271, and I'm titling this one for now, Mamdani, and Fauci criminals extraordinaire. So Mamdani, he's every day it's something new with him, isn't it? He can't decide whether he wants to be a socialist or a communist. I don't know, maybe he's trying to be both at the same time. So he's come out, I'm sure you heard, he announced, just let me read this little bit of news here. He announced that a core basket of everyday groceries will be 30% cheaper at the 5 new municipal grocery stores that he's going to have built. The basket will include all fresh produce, meat, and seafood, along with roughly 20 additional categories of pantry staples, dairy, and refrigerated goods. The discount will apply to all, regardless of income. Sure. With prices locked in and predictable rather than fluctuating week to week, as in the case at private grocers. Combined, the savings are projected to cut New Yorkers' average grocery bill by 15%, about $90 a month, or $1,000 a year. Wow, $90 a month. Well, I guess you could use that $90 a month for something else. I mean, we have children in poverty out there. We do have people in the nation that are living at the poverty level. I don't believe that they're starving. And the reason why I don't believe so, and if they are, it would be their own problem or their own fault, because we have food pantries and we have our churches and we have many other places that are giving away food. And has he, the jihadist, I'm not going to call him Mamdani anymore, the jihadist, is he not aware of the WIC program? Guess not. Yeah, he's heard, but he doesn't care. He's pushing his socialism. So the man I almost said it again. The Jihadist Administration Network of municipal grocery stores, a core pillar of the mayor's affordability agenda, will guarantee lower prices for New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, including the more than 40% of families who struggle to afford food. The first grocery store will open by the end of 2027 at Hunts Point in the Bronx, a neighborhood where 77% of households struggle to afford basic necessities. All 5 stores, one per borough, will be open by the end of the mayor's first term. That's going to take quite a while to build these grocery stores. Hopefully, he will be either taken out of office before the end of his first term, or that will be his last term. Let's see, including La Marqueta in East Harlem. The mayor has allocated $70 million in the capital budget to deliver on this core commitment to New Yorkers in partnership with New York CEDC. Don't know what the hell that stands for. $70 million. $70 million of your tax dollars are going to build these grocery stores and start giving out discounted food. Steaks. Seafood. Again, nobody's really starving unless they want to be starving. Um, you can eat macaroni and cheese. You can eat tuna fish. You don't need steak and lobster every night. You don't need chicken every night. Um, Not saying you're getting it. This is socialism, people. This is socialism. He's stealing from the taxpayers to get for his pet project to give out these discounts. If they even happen. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Something else could happen before then. And even if they do, these stores aren't going to last. You know what they say about socialism? It's only as good until you run out of other people's money, right? So 70 million up front, how much more is it going to cost each year after that to keep these stores going? Not going to work. Not going to work. But he's a socialist. And, you've got a lot of liberals in New York that are probably just gobbling this shit up. Yay, good job, Mr. Jihadist. Thank you for the discounted food. Enough of that. So then the jihadist out there, a few days ago, a week ago, I don't remember, he's out there trashing Bibi Netanyahu, calling him a war criminal, which I'm sure there's a lot of people, the anti-Semites in the country that are jumping on board with that one. Anyway, he says if he comes to New York, he will have him arrested. Well, we know he doesn't have the authority, and this is all show. This is all for show. You know why? Because in September, Bibi is scheduled to come to New York for some type of summit. I don't know what it is. Don't care what it is. So the jihadist puts this out there to gin up his base, to light a fire under their asses so that when Bibi does show up, plans already have been made to probably go out and protest, disrupt the city, whatever the plans are. So he just put this out there, early warning system, notifying all his buddies. Watch, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then finally, know that. And then finally, this was just the other day, yesterday, as a matter of fact, he's now putting out a list of people to the public, a list of people of the rich people out there that have homes that are more than $5 million and is their second home. And he's not just doing this to Republicans or conservatives. He's doing this to his Democrat buddies as well. Why? Publicly posting their names and addresses of these properties. Why is he doing that? Well, again, he's alerting his buddy jihadists, and he's telling these rich people, you either toe the line and respect me and go along with what I'm saying, or I'm going to send them after you. They've got your addresses now. You either comply with me, or they're going to come and pay you a visit. That's all it is. That's all it is. I told you, I said in many videos before, I told you that if he gets elected, it's gonna embolden his buddies. And they've been emboldened. And he is going to do whatever he possibly can. You're seeing it almost every day. He's doing whatever he possibly can to tear New York down economically. He doesn't care how many people move out. You want to leave? That's fine. That's just less people that he has to deal with. He wants to take him down. He wants to take New York down. And then when he thinks that he's got it taken down far enough, then he's going to take total control. He's going to take total control of the place. And when he gets it far, even a little further down, once he takes control, guess what's coming next, people? Have you guessed? Sharia law. He's going to introduce Sharia law. You don't believe me? Bookmark this video, save it somewhere. And it's going to happen before the end of his first term, because he's in overdrive right now. He knows that he's got a short period of time to do this, and so he's got to be quick. He's got to be quick. And what confuses me, what puzzles me, I mean, there was a protest out the other day. I will give him that. There was a protest out the other day, just raising hell about what he's doing, which needs to happen more often. We need to see at least every weekend, 100,000, 200,000 or more out on the streets, just chastising the hell out of him. But what puzzles me is that there isn't more fight back. You've got, from what I understand, you've got them out there playing their prayer chants 5 times a day in some neighborhoods. Why aren't people getting rid of those things? Why aren't people taking them down? Why aren't they destroying them? Why aren't they doing something to stop it? If this continues, and it's going to spread, it spreads like a cancer. It's might be one borough here, one borough there, one little village here, one village there, one city here, it's going to spread, because if nobody puts an end to it, they know that they've got you under control, and they're just going to continue. That's, I guess, that really amazes me, and at the same time, it frustrates and pisses me off, because they're coming, they come into New York, and they're taking over so easily, without a fight. They're doing whatever the hell they want every day of the week, and nothing's happening. Really amazes me. Enough of him. Enough of the jihadists. So, Rand Paul was on or not Rand Paul, Fauci was on the hot seat today. Rand Paul had him on the hot seat. Here we go again. Fauci. What's the game, Rand Paul? What's the game this time? I listened to a video from Glenn Beck just before I came on, and he listened to the proceedings, and he said I don't see where Rand Paul's gonna try to get this guy convicted. He just wanted to answer his questions. Well, Rand Paul has been asking Fauci for the last 5 years, at least, a lot of questions. He's had him on the hot seat for 3 or 4, at least 3 times, possibly 4, asking him every question in the book. And before he had him on the hot seat, Rand Paul, I got him this time. I've got the evidence, and I'm gonna prove to the American public, to the citizens of this country, what he did, and blah 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 blah. And he asked the questions of Fauci. Fauci, of course, lied through his ass, left the room. Rand Paul ran out crying, went to the media, and started crying, bitching, pissing, moaning, complaining that Fauci lied to him. Rand Paul didn't do a damn thing. Not one damn thing. He could, if he knew Fauci was lying, he didn't have to wait till the end to realize it. He probably lied on the first damn question, or first answer. Rand Paul could have called the Sergeant of Arms. I've talked about this before. He could have called the Sergeant of Arms, had Fauci detained until they decided what they wanted to do with him. And then there was a good possibility that he could have been indicted. but Rand Paul refused. So what's this all about? What's this all about? Um, and then not only did Fauci lie to Rand Paul and others in the other go arounds, then this time Fauci's like, well, I've got a pardon. I don't have to answer shit. So what does he do? He pleads the Fifth Amendment on every question that he was asked. It's like, yeah, screw you guys. I don't have to answer anything. And there are, I mean, the Fifth Amendment, of course, you don't want to, you have that right, so that you don't incriminate yourself. But does it really say that you're not guilty when you plead the Fifth? Um, for example, let me ask Fauci this question. So, millions of people lost their lives when when COVID and all this other crap was going on, which we know you had a lot to do with. So, do you believe that you unlived all these people? And Fauci will come up and he'll say, under the Constitution of the United States, I plead the Fifth Amendment, so I don't incriminate, blah, blah, blah. All he would have had to say is no, I didn't do it. And I would have, potentially people might have believed him. If he would have said, no, I didn't do it. No, what does he say? I plead the Fifth Amendment. So, in other words, yeah, you did it, right? So the Fifth Amendment, to me, when I hear them screaming the Fifth Amendment, that just tells me that they're guilty. It's not a prejudgment. It's just, yeah, they're guilty. They don't want to answer questions, regardless of what the question is. They're guilty. And so supposedly, Fauci got a pardon. That's the word on the street. But how does a pardon affect the Fifth Amendment? Oh, let me go back for a second too. Not only did Fauci plead the Fifth, but he had a lawyer sitting next to him. Rand Paul who, by the way, was interfering with the whole proceeding, and Rand Paul had said that you're not even supposed to be sitting up there. You should be sitting in the row behind Fauci, and if you don't shut the hell up, we're going to have you removed. And the lawyer didn't shut the hell up, so they had him removed. And Fauci, when you see the removal of the lawyer, he's got this. He tried really hard not to turn it into a smile, but you can see there was a little smirk on his face there. Okay, so anyway, how does a pardon affect the Fifth Amendment? So let me read this. The Fifth Amendment protects individuals from being compelled to testify against themselves in criminal cases, self-incrimination. However, when a federal pardon is granted and accepted, if he received a pardon, it eliminates it eliminates federal criminal liability for the pardon offense, effectively placing the recipient as if the offense had never been committed. This was in a case, Brown versus Walker, 1896. As a result, the legal justification for invoking the Fifth Amendment, risk of self-incrimination, no longer exists for that specific federal crime. So that's end of reading. So that's possibly, because I know Rand Paul and others were asking him probably a lot of the same questions that they did the last 3 or 4 times, but it's possible that they introduced a new line of questioning that would say, sorry, your little pardon is no good in these parts for these questions. So we'll see. Time will tell. Am I going to hold my breath that something's going to happen to him? No, not going to happen. Fauci is guilty of unlifing many people in this country and around the world, and he should have been indicted years ago. Yet he is still running around collecting over $400,000 a year pension from the taxpayers, the same ones that he trashed during COVID or he wiped out during COVID. Now, we heard about, back to this pardon, we heard about Biden and his auto pen, the staffers signing a bunch of shit for him using auto pen, which is illegal, by the way, for what they were signing. And so technically, I mean, technically, anything that Biden staffers signed is illegal, including any pardon. And that has been brought out, that those questions were raised 6 months into this administration, I believe it was. And yet today, we don't hear any more about it. It's crickets, nothing out there. Don't hear anything more about the auto pen. There was this big push. The DOJ was going to look into it and do something about it. I don't know what they were going to do, but they were going to check into it. But that's it. Like everything else, like the Epstein files and everything else, Mar-a-Lago, everything else, nothing, not one damn thing. Where in the hell is the DOJ? You know, when Bondi was in, I was bitching about her almost every day. Where's the indictments? Where's the indictments? Get off your ass. You got the Epstein files. You were going to release them. Didn't do it. Blah, blah, blah. All we have is Comey and Bolton. Comey and Bolton. That's all we have after 18 months. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people should be indicted already. Starting with those criminals in D.C. And to this day, Comey and Bolton. And that's all we have. This idea of these people protecting each other is sickening. It's disgusting. They're all pieces of crap. It needs to stop. They need to start indicting these people tomorrow. Oh, or is their plan, which I wouldn't doubt, is their plan to wait until President Trump is out of the White House and then they can say, oh, yep, we're all done, nothing to see here. And they go around, pat each other on the back for making sure that they all kept each other out of jail. I'm also I'm fed up to here. I'm past. I'm fed up with these congressional misfits in D.C. acting like they're so damn concerned about what's happening in the country. You know, how many months have we heard our senators, Mike Lee and others, a few others, not very many, talking about Thune and not passing the Save America Act? Months we've heard this. But yet at the same time, they're not doing anything to have the dipshit removed from the leadership position. And now they're, I don't know, 12, 13 senators like, we're not going home in August. We refuse to go home in August. 12, 13 out of what? 51, 52 GOP senators. How long is that going to last? Are they actually, are they going to really stay in the Senate in August? We'll see. Or is that another act that they're putting on? Are they just blowing more smoke up the public's ass and continuing to piss on the Americans day after day after day and say, oh no, it's raining outside. It's raining outside. You must, yeah. Something's got to break. Something has got to break, and it's got to break very quickly. Whether it's before the midterms or after the midterms, American people need to take this country back from our Congress. Believe it or not, we have to take it back from our Congress. Anyway, that's all I have tonight, I believe. Yeah, that's all I've got for now. If you see this sign, if you see somebody doing this, this is the international sign for distress. If you can render aid to this individual that's doing this safely, do so, because there's a good possibility that you might save their life. That's all I got, Patriots. Have a good one.